There you are, my friend. Come closer now. Yes, just there beside the fire, where the stones are dry and the moss is soft enough to rest upon. I've kept your place for you, as always. The flame is still dancing, though it's burning low, and the rain has begun to sing against the stone again. A gentle rhythm, steady, like a lullaby laid down by the sky itself. You hear it, don't you? That hush and tap of rain on the old arches. It's a peaceful sound, like the world is breathing in slow, careful measure. Outside these crumbled walls, the night stretches wide and wet across the hills. But within these ruins, it is warm, it is quiet, it is ours. See how the fire glows golden against the old stones, how it throws light up the sides of the ruin, flickering like candlelight in a chapel long forgotten. The grass underfoot is thick and cool, and the earth smells of moss and ash, rich, old, comforting. The dragon's tail rests in a coil, its breath deep and even. Even she has found her slumber now, and soon, I hope, you shall too. Nasosia Bindus, I look forward to these evenings more than I can say, when the world grows slow and gentle, and I can lie back on this worn leather pack of mine, and simply, no armor to polish, no sword to raise, only the fire, the rain, and the stars drifting unseen above the clouds. You being here beside me brings a comfort I never knew I needed. Listen, hear how the rain changes as it falls through the broken archways. Some drops tap lightly on stone, others sigh through ivy and vines. It's a choir of soft things, a hymn for those who've walked far and now seek only stillness. You and I, we've done enough wandering for now. Tonight is for rest. The moon, when it shows itself, hangs just beyond the ruined tower. Sometimes, through that tall window there, above the dragon's resting head, you can glimpse her pale silver light, soft as milk on old marble. She doesn't need to be bright tonight, just present, watching over us, in that quiet way the heavens always do. And here, between these old walls, there's a hush that runs deeper than silence. It's the hush of time paused, of footsteps long faded, of memories pressed into stone. I like to think these ruins once held laughter, feasts, and songs echoing through the halls. And now they hold us, just for a while. Do you feel the warmth on your palms from the fire? Even in the damp night air, it keeps the chill away. That's one of the great kindnesses of this world, I think. That fire continues to share its warmth, even when the wind howls or the rain falls hard. Much like the heart, when it learns to stay soft even after long seasons of hardship. I hope you've brought no burdens with you tonight. And if you have, well, let them sit by the fire too. You don't need to carry them now. The rain will take some, the fire will ease the rest. There is nothing that must be done tonight, no one to prove anything to, just this breath and the next. I find it helps to watch the fire when thoughts grow tangled. The way it moves without rushing, the way it leans into each log with such care. There's no hurry in its glow, only patience. It teaches me, in its quiet way, to slow down too. And perhaps it will teach you as well. So, let us lie here, you and I, without speaking too much. Let the sounds carry us, the hush of the wind, the gentle creak of wood settling, the slow breath of the dragon curled nearby. Let the world grow smaller, until all that remains is this circle of warmth, this simple moment. You're safe here, my friend. Truly, there is no watch to keep, no path to follow, just this place, this night, and the soft rhythm of your heartbeat settling into rest. If you'd like, You can close your eyes now. I'll keep the fire for you a little while longer. Yes, let your shoulders loosen. Let the stillness take you. You are not alone. You are home. Sleep is near now. Let it come. There you feel that hush that settles in once you've been still long enough to notice it. It's one of the quiet comforts of this place. You might not catch it right away, not when you first step beneath the old arch or brush the rain from your shoulders. But give it a moment, and the stillness welcomes you. Not a silence of emptiness. No, but a fullness, the kind only found in places where the world has chosen to grow slow. Look around you now, my dear friend. These walls, cracked and soft-edged with time, once stood proud. Perhaps a watchtower, or maybe the outer hall of some forgotten stronghold. No banners fly here now, and the stones are softened with moss and wildflowers creeping in between the cracks. But to me, this place is no less noble for its crumbling. If anything, it is more so. It has let go of all it was, and in doing so become a place of rest, of breath. The scent here tells half the story. Lean back just a bit. Breathe it in with me. That's wet earth, damp ivy, smoke clinging to the edges of the wind. The rain outside has stirred the forest into song, and its breath moves through the open archways, sweet and green with pine and lichen. There's something grounding about it, isn't there? Like the world itself is exhaling, inviting us to do the same. And the fire. Look how its light plays along the stones, casting little golden waves across the dragon's scales. She's sleeping, of course, has been for a while now. Her breathing is slow, rhythmic, steady. You can see the light catch the ridges of her back, the faint shimmer that comes and goes with each rise of her chest. Her color shifts with the flame, deep violet and indigo now touched with amber at the edges. I find it strangely comforting how she lets the warmth touch her so openly. No armor between her and the fire, just trust. Sometimes I watch the shadows here as they dance. They climb the walls and vanish into the arch above, curling in and out of the broken stones, like they're weaving a quiet tale of their own. There's a kind of gentle magic in places like this, not the sort you'd find in ancient tomes or whispered spells, but the magic of time's patient hand, of stillness earned. Now listen, if you will. Hear the way the rain speaks tonight. Each drop seems to carry its own shape, its own sound. Some tap delicately on the broken flagstones near the threshold, while others slip down ivy leaves with soft glissades. Farther off, where the forest edge is near, the branches sway with a hush, whispering to one another in a language only old trees know. There's an owl too. Did you hear her? A soft, muffled hoot from somewhere high in the pines. She always seems to arrive just after nightfall, as if to mark the changing of the watch. And the wind, oh, the wind. Not fierce, not cold, just wandering. It brushes past us like an old friend. It tugs gently at the tufts of grass near the hearth, moves through my hair, what little I have left of it, and stirs the edge of your cloak. You'll find no storm within it, no urgency, only the gentle breath of a world content to turn slowly. Beneath it all, the earth holds steady. The ground here is soft, the grass thick and padded from years of rain and seasons folding over themselves. It cushions my armor like a second bedroll, and yours as well, I hope. And there, just near your boot, see how the tiny blue flowers bloom even in shadow, brave little things. They have no need of sunlight to be beautiful, just space to grow quietly. The forest beyond the ruin has its own rhythm too. I often watch the tall grass at the clearing's edge. Even in the rain it sways gently, like it remembers an old melody. Sometimes a fox will pass there, silent as thought, or a deer might raise its head to listen for nothing in particular. But tonight, it's only the wind and the rain, and us, and truly that's more than enough. Have you noticed how the light changes as the fire burns lower? The way the orange softens to gold, and then to a tender red. It reminds me of candlelight in a chapel at dusk, where shadows fall long across the stone floor, and the air feels thick with reverence. Not fear, not sorrow, just a quiet sense that something sacred is being held softly in that moment. That's what this place feels like. A chapel without a roof, a temple made of rain and ruin. I suppose that's why time feels slower here, because there's nothing pressing against it. No bells to ring, no gates to open. The past lies folded in the stone, and the future waits politely at the edge of the clearing. Only now remains, and even now moves gently. Every sound, every scent, each one feels chosen. Consider the crackle of a single log as it splits in the fire, the soft hiss of a drop landing on the coals. Consider the way your cloak warms at your back, and the cool air brushes your face. All of it, balanced, all of it, here for you. You've come far, my friend. I know that even if I do not know the roads you've taken, and here in this little hollow of stone and warmth, I hope you feel how deeply welcome you are. The world has given us this space to breathe, to listen, to remember what it means simply to be. Let the rain fall as it may. Let it stitch the forest and the sky together, drop by drop. Let it soften the roofless arches. Let it coax green from every crack, for tonight we are dry, and the fire holds strong. The dragon sleeps without worry, and I, your old companion, am content to watch the light dance on the wall beside us, and speak until your eyes grow heavy. There is no need to hurry, no tale to chase just yet. This moment, this one right here, is enough. Yes. Listen again. That's the owl once more, a little closer now. Perhaps she's watching over us, or simply listening in. Either way, she is welcome, as you are. All creatures are beneath this open sky. And when the fire does burn low, when the coals slip into quiet embers, and the rain begins to fade, I think you'll find sleep waiting nearby. Patient, gentle, like the wind, like the moss, like me. You're safe, dear friend. Let the world turn slow. Let the ruin hold you. Let the night unfold like a lullaby too old to forget. I'll keep watch a little longer. You just rest. You know, sometimes I forget the weight of names, titles, crests, oaths, all those things that once meant so much. Sir of this, defender of that, bearer of some ancient sword. For a time they clung to me like armor I couldn't remove. But out here, in this quiet place, beside the fire and beneath the stars, I am simply myself. No heralds, no honors, just a man with a tired back and a full heart, finally learning what it means to be still. So let me introduce myself, not with rank, but with truth. I am someone who once walked long roads with heavy steps, and who now rests by this fire, not because I am weary, but because I've finally allowed myself to be. You see, there was a time when I thought rest was earned, that only after battles and burden and bone-deep fatigue would I deserve a moment like this. But time, and the gentle passing of many seasons, has taught me something quieter. Rest is not a reward. It is a right. The ache in my limbs. Oh, it is still there, of course. Just knees that stiffen with the cold, fingers that don't quite move as they once did. But the ache no longer demands anything of me. It simply exists, like an old friend who walks beside me in silence. Once, I would have fought it, cursed it, pushed past it. Now, I breathe with it. I give it a place beside me, and in return it asks nothing. And the thoughts, those endless thoughts of what must be done, who must be protected, what banners must be honored, they've grown quiet too, not gone. No, just softened, like stones beneath moss, still present, but no longer sharp. The dragon? Ah, yes. She rests with us now, doesn't she? Just beyond the firelight, her breath warm and slow. You might not believe it, but once upon a time I feared her, truly feared her. Her wings, her fire, her silence. Not because she was cruel, but because she was unknown. Because I had been taught to see danger where there was only difference. But look at her now. Curled in peace, her great head resting beside the fire like a dozing hound. There's a trust between us that no tale of valor could ever capture. She watches the skies for me, and I tend the flame for her. No oaths, no commands, just the quiet bond of those who have let go of fear. It didn't happen all at once. These things never do, but slowly, through shared nights like this, through soft looks and silence offered instead of swords drawn, we found a rhythm, a shared breath. Now I cannot imagine resting without her nearby. She is not a beast. She is not a tale. She is family. And in that same breath, so are you. I wonder sometimes, when did I begin to change? Was it when the sword grew too heavy to lift each morning without wincing, or when I first chose a path through a field of wildflowers instead of the straightest road? Or perhaps it was when I stopped asking whether I had done enough, and began to ask only, am I present now? That's what this ruin has offered me. A place not just to sleep, but to arrive, truly arrive, to feel the breeze without bracing against it, to hear the rain and not worry about the roof, to look at the coals of a fire and think not of whether they'll last, but of how beautiful it is the way they glow. You may have noticed I don't wear my full armor anymore. Not here. The breastplate rests beside me, near the old pillar. I keep the gauntlets off. The weight, while once reassuring, has become unnecessary. I've no one left to impress with the clang of steel. And besides, it's easier to feel the earth beneath you when you're not covered in iron. The grass cradles you better when your skin can touch the world. Sometimes I think of my younger self. The boy who held a wooden sword in one hand and a story in the other. He wanted to be great, to be sung about. But now, lying here with the stars watching and the fire humming low, I no longer wish for songs. I only wish that I can be remembered, gently, as someone who offered warmth, when warmth was needed, as someone who saw you, not for what you could become, but for who you already are. And so I speak to you now, not as a knight, but as your companion, as one who has shed the sharp edges of duty and taken up the quiet craft of presence. I have walked long. Yes, I have fought, I have failed, I have learned, and that has changed me more than any battle ever could. I do not need to be seen as strong anymore, not by others, not even by myself. There is peace in being known without armor, in being still without shame, in saying, I am tired, and letting that be enough. The fire crackles softly now. Its warmth brushes my knees, The dragon shifts slightly, her breath deepening. And you, my friend, you are here. That, more than anything, is enough. So if you are carrying something heavy, something unseen, let it rest here by the fire. You don't need to hold it alone. You don't need to hold it at all. Not tonight. Tonight we are just souls beneath a gentle sky. Just old bones and brave hearts wrapped in stillness. Just companions sharing warmth in the ruins of a world that still remembers how to be kind. And that is more than enough. You're still awake, dear heart. I'm glad. Sometimes these quiet nights slip by unnoticed, don't they? Like rain through an open palm. But since we're here, warm beside the fire, and the dragon has drifted deeper into her dreams, perhaps I might share something with you. A tale, if you'd like, though not the kind sung by minstrels or carved onto the stones of old keeps. No clashing swords, no grand victories. This one is smaller than that, slower, softer. It was during one of those wanderings of mine, after the weight of my armor had begun to feel heavier than the shield I used to carry. I had heard whispers of a chapel nestled far beyond the bramblewood, forgotten, roofless, and grown through with ivy. They said that somewhere within it hung a bell, cast from silver and ash, that would ring only for those who carried no desire in their heart. Not ambition, not longing, not even the soft ache of unfinished dreams. Strange thing, isn't it? To seek something that cannot be found by seeking. But I was drawn to it all the same, not for conquest, but for the quiet of it, the thought of such a place, where stillness itself might speak back. I remember waking one morning beneath an old linden tree, packing nothing but dried apples and oatcakes into my pouch, and setting out with no map, no escort, no expectation. The roads were not the sort you mark on parchment. They were paths the wind remembered. Deer trails, fern-lined gullies. I passed streams so shallow they sang over the stones like birdsong, and meadows where the breeze tugged at my sleeves like a child. Everything about the journey urged slowness. Even my footsteps seemed to sink more deeply into the earth, as if the land itself wished me to pause. There were no milestones along the way, only the signs that matter more to those who listen carefully. A sudden hush among the reeds, the way the sun filtered differently through the canopy, the scent of wild mint crushed beneath your heel. At times I thought I might be lost, but something inside me whispered that I was precisely where I was meant to be. And along the way I noticed something I hadn't before. The less I sought the bell, the more the world opened. Not in grand gestures, but in gentler ones. A butterfly landing on my gauntlet, a hare pausing just long enough to share a moment of eye contact, the hush of bees moving through elderflowers. It was as if the world, sensing that I was no longer asking it for answers, had begun to offer me presence instead. The days folded into one another. I moved slowly. I listened. I rested often. And one evening I came to the edge of a clearing where the trees parted like a curtain. And there it was. Not a cathedral. Not a monument. Just stone bones softened by moss. An archway stood half buried in vines, and where once there might have been walls, there were now only pillars kissed by sunlight. Grass grew wild where pews had long since vanished. A chapel, yes, but more a garden now than a temple, and at its heart, suspended between two beams, worn smooth by time, hung a single bell. It was smaller than I imagined, weathered, quiet, and it did not ring. I sat there a long while beneath the frame of what had once been a stained glass window, now home to vines and dappled light. I didn't reach for the bell. I didn't kneel. I simply sat, let the earth cradle me, let the silence steep into my skin. And it was in that stillness that I began to hear it. Not a sound in the way we know sound, not the sharpness of a toll, but something else, something quieter than breath, deeper than thought. A kind of absence that felt fuller than any presence I'd ever known. The silence rang. That's the only way I can explain it. It filled the space not with noise, but with meaning. I realized then that I had never truly listened before. Not like that. All my life, I had listened for answers, for cues, for danger, but never for nothing, never for peace. And in that moment, with the wind brushing the leaves like turning pages, and the sun slipping behind the western hills, I felt something release inside me, a tension I hadn't known I was holding, a burden made of want. I didn't need the bell to ring. I didn't need anything at all. It was enough to be there. I stayed through twilight, and even as the stars began to prick the sky and the air cooled, I didn't light a fire. The silence was warmth enough. It held me as surely as any cloak, and when I finally rose and turned to leave, I didn't look back. Not because I was afraid to lose it, but because I knew it would walk with me now. This stillness, this silence, this memory of a bell that sings through not singing, turned here, now beside you. I think I can still hear it, faintly, like a promise too gentle to be spoken aloud. You see, my friend, not all quests are about finding. Some are about unbecoming, about setting things down, about discovering that the world is enough, and that we are enough within it. That's what that quiet journey gave me. A softness where once there was only striving. A song made of silence. A treasure that asks for no guarding, no keeping, only remembering. And I remember it now with you beside me. So if ever your heart grows heavy with want, be it longing, or ache, or that subtle restlessness that creeps in on the wind, perhaps think of that chapel, that moss-covered arch, that silver bell that does not toll, and let it remind you, you do not need to chase anything tonight. You are already here, and here is everything. Now breathe with me, slow and steady. Yes, just like that. Let the story settle. Let the silence return. Let the fire keep watch. We'll sit together a while longer. No need for more words. Just this hush. Just the warmth. Just us. You're still with me. That's good. There's something comforting in knowing we share the same fire, the same breath of night. You don't need to speak, of course. Just be. Just listen, if it suits you. I've been thinking, as I often do, about the quiet things that stayed with me. Not the battles or banners or the faces of those who cheered my name long ago, but the smaller moments, the unnoticed ones, the fragments of life that nestled into my memory like seeds and grew, long after I had passed by. There was a time I walked a narrow path through a valley where the mist never quite lifted. It clung to my boots and curled around the edges of the trees like lace, soft and persistent. And just off that path, nestled behind a tangle of willow and thyme, I came upon a garden, not a grand one. No hedges clipped into lions or fountains carved from marble. No, this one was simple, rows of herbs, all growing in crooked little beds, woven together with bits of driftwood and stone. Lavender, rosemary, mint, and other green things whose names I never knew. And among them, bent low with her hands buried in the earth, was the gardener. She was old. Not the kind of old that makes you frail, but the kind that makes you still. Her hair was white and braided back with twine, her eyes clouded with blindness, yet her hands moved with certainty, as if they remembered every root and leaf by touch alone. She didn't ask who I was. She didn't flinch at the sword at my side or the weight I carried on my shoulders. She simply said, "You're standing in the lemon balm, dear." And when I stepped back with a muttered apology, she smiled and offered me a sprig of something fragrant and soft, pressing it into my palm. She didn't need sight to know what the world asked of her. She just listened to the soil, to the wind, to the way her fingers whispered over stems and petals. I stayed for a while, longer than I'd meant to, watching her tend to her work in silence. There was peace in her presence, a kind of wisdom I'd never learned from steel or scripture. She told me one thing before I left, her voice quiet and warm. Growth doesn't need to be seen to be real. I've carried that with me ever since. Let it take root inside. Another day, another path. I found myself crossing a stretch of highland where the hills moved like the backs of sleeping beasts, all furred with heather and gold grass. The wind was strong there, and the sky seemed to touch the land, and there, standing at the crest of a rise, was a stag, a great one, antlers like branches, coat dark with rain. He saw me, that much I'm sure of, but he didn't flee, he didn't challenge either. He simply stood and bowed his head, slow and sure, before turning and walking off into the mist. I don't pretend to know why. Perhaps he mistook me for someone else, or perhaps he knew I wasn't there to take. Only to witness that small act, that bow, meant more to me than the feasts once held in my honor. It was a greeting, not earned, but offered, and that, I've learned, is the truest kind. You see, my friend, the world is full of these moments, unwritten, unseen, quiet as breath. But they nourish the heart, far more than applause or titles or trophies ever could. There was also a village I passed through once, a small one, tucked between forest and field. I don't recall its name, only that it had a single cobbled road and a well with ivy climbing up its stone lip. I'd stopped to rest and refill my flask, and as I sat near the well, a group of children gathered round. They were curious, of course, about the armor, the cloak, the weathered boots. One of them asked if I had ever held a sword. When I said yes, he blinked at me and said, "Why?" Not with fear, not with awe, just genuine confusion, as if the idea of a weapon was foreign to him. It struck me then. They had never seen a sword drawn in anger. They had only known peace. They didn't ask for stories of dragons or war. Instead, they wanted to know if I'd ever slept in a tree, or if birds followed me, or if I believed mushrooms could talk. Their laughter was unguarded, wild, the kind of sound that rings through a man's chest long after it fades from his ears. I've played a little game with them, stacking stones into towers, teaching them how to skip the flat ones across the pond. And for a while I forgot the weight of my journey. I was simply there, laughing with children who saw no glory in the sword strapped to my hip, only questions, only wonder. That, too, I carried with me. And when the dragon, our quiet, watchful friend here, joined me on those roads, she shared her own stories, not in words, of course, but in ways I've come to understand. The way she shifts when the wind smells of salt. The way her eyes follow the stars when they turn low in the sky. Once, as we rested beside a cliff edge overlooking a sea of clouds, she unfurled one wing slowly, letting the breeze slide along the membrane like a remembered melody. In that moment I felt her speak, not with voice, but with memory. She told me of flight above storm lines, of gliding where no land touched the sky, of loneliness too, not the bitter kind, but the echoing kind, the kind that waits for something it can't yet name, and of how, over time, she found her way not to hidden caves or mountain tops, but to closeness, to the warmth of another sleeping nearby, to the fire's quiet breath, to the hush between words shared without pressure. Her stories are stitched into silence, just as mine are stitched into speech. And between the two of us, we've made a tapestry of understanding without needing to explain a thing. These moments, they changed me, friend. Not in a way you can see, perhaps. I still look much the same. Battered boots, worn hands, a beard that never quite grows evenly. But inside I became quieter, like the river after it leaves the mountains, winding gentle through the lowlands, content to reflect the sky instead of carving through stone. If I could give you something, tonight, it would be this: the stillness to notice, to find wonder in small things, the way morning dew catches on a spider's thread, the curve of a fallen leaf resting on water, the sound of moss when you walk gently across it. There is no need to rush toward greatness when the world offers such beauty simply by being. You are already part of it, you know. You sitting here beside me, listening. You are a witness too, a gatherer of soft truths. And maybe you've had your own moments, your own blind gardeners and stags, your own children who laugh without knowing your name. Maybe they live in memory now, maybe they live in dreams, but wherever they rest, I hope they've shaped you as mine have shaped me. Now let's sit quietly for a while longer. Let the fire crackle, let the dragon breathe, let the stars rise unseen beyond the ruins' arches. Discovered enough for one night, and tomorrow if it comes we'll find more. Not by searching, only by being. Listen to it now, my friend. The fire has quieted down to soft amber and hush. The rain still falls, but gentler now, like the sky is breathing evenly at last, soothed by the rhythm of the earth. Each drop that lands beyond these old stone arches carries the sound of something being made clean again, something being let go. And here, beside you, with the warmth still lingering in the stones, I find myself thinking, not of duty, nor of days gone, but of silence, and how misunderstood it's always been. You see, for much of my life, I thought silence meant something was missing, that it was a space left unfilled, something to fix. In battle, silence meant waiting for the charge. In court, it meant unreadable faces and words unsaid. In the long nights after hard choices, it meant regret. But I know better now. Perfecting silence, I've learned, is not absence, not a hollow echo of what could have been. No, it is presence, just not the loud kind. Silence is the breath after the song, the stillness in a forest where no branches break, the way a gaze can hold you without a single word passing between you. It is not less, it is more, fullness unspoken. And here, tonight, it is all around us. This is a sacred kind of quiet, the kind that holds you like a warm blanket, rather than leaving you cold. It welcomes rather than excludes, and it asks nothing of you, nothing at all. Say, there spits a great peace in that, isn't it there? I've begun to wonder, over the years, if that's what we're truly looking for. Not answers, not glory, not even comfort, but a place where we are allowed to be still. A place where we don't need to explain ourselves, or prove our worth, or hold our armor too tightly to our chest. Just a moment, where we are seen, gently, and left unchanged. And perhaps that's why I've come to treasure these evenings so deeply, because here, with you by the fire, with the dragon sleeping beside us, and the rain washing the stone clean, there is nothing I must be, no story I must uphold. I am not the sword, I am not the sigil. I am just a voice, and a breath, and a presence sitting beside yours. I suppose we all wonder, from time to time, what we'll leave behind, what the world will remember of us when our footsteps no longer press into its soil. When I was young, I thought legacy was measured in monuments and songs, that to be remembered one must be etched into stone or sung at feasts, or written down in the scrolls of the wise. But the older I grow, the more I feel that those are only echoes. Loud, yes, but shallow. The deeper legacies, the truer ones, they don't come from statues. They come from softness. From the time you held someone's hand and didn't let go. From the evening you stayed beside a friend until they fell asleep. From the words you didn't say, because the moment needed quiet. From the kindness no one saw you give. Those are the things that live on, not because they're carved in marble, but because they were planted in hearts. Maybe the only legacy worth leaving is to have made someone feel safe, just once. To have been the fire in the storm, the stillness in the noise, the one who stayed. And maybe, just maybe, that's what I've done tonight. Not with tales of bells or beasts or gardens, but by simply being here with you, breathing in the same damp air, watching the same slow fire, sharing this same quiet now. I think of all the souls I've met who never asked for anything grand. The gardener, who grew green life from memory alone. The stag, who bowed not in fear but in grace. The children, who taught me joy, without ever knowing my name. They'll never be sung about in great halls, and yet they are more a part of me than any king or lord I've served. Isn't it something how the smallest moments take up the most space in us? I remember once, late in autumn, lying beneath an old oak tree with my head against my own pack, much like this. The leaves above had turned to copper and gold, and the sky was shifting into that pale blue that only comes before frost. I had no map, no fire, no companion, only the wind and the ground and the ache of a long journey. And I remember thinking then, this is enough. That if no one ever built me a statue, if no bard ever remembered my name, but I had known this moment of simple presence, I would not be forgotten. Not by the world, but by myself. Because so often we live loud lives and forget to live true ones. Thus, the gift of quiet, you see. It lets you hear the deeper truths. The ones buried beneath all the titles and tasks and noise. It reminds you of what matters, of who you are when no one is watching, of the strength in gentleness, the courage in listening. The rain has slowed now, just a mist, like the earth itself, exhaling. You can almost hear the moss drinking it in, and the dragon. Listen, she sighs in her sleep. Even she knows peace tonight, a creature of sky and flame resting here with no guard, no shield, only closeness. I think she sits teaching me, even now, that safety doesn't come from walls or blades, but from nearness, from the trust that you will be held, even when you're soft, that someone will sit beside you, not because they need something, but because they want to stay. That sips why I sit still here, my friend. Not to protect, not to guide, just to be beside you. You have done enough. You are enough. And should you forget that, I'll remember it for you. There's nothing more you need to do tonight. No truths to uncover, no thoughts to tame. Just the steady glow of the fire, the slow hush of breath, and the quiet truth of being safe and seen. Let that settle into you now. Let it hold you. Let the silence say what words cannot. We are not alone here, not in this moment, not ever. The fire's grown low now, hasn't it? Just a soft glow in the ashes, barely more than a memory of warmth. But still it holds enough to keep the chill from settling too deep in our bones. I can feel it in my hands, in the slow breath that rises and falls through me. And you there beside me, you're still here. I'm glad for that. It's a strange thing, this quiet. So full, yet so gentle. Like the last light of evening before true night arrives. It asks nothing of us. And in return, it offers something I've come to cherish more than I ever expected, permission to rest. Do you hear the rain? It's softened into a hush now, like the sky itself is beginning to nod off. It brushes the old stones above us and slips down the ivy in tiny silver threads. The kind of rain that doesn't need to be seen. It's enough to feel it in the air, cool and clean, wrapping around the world like a lullaby stitched from clouds. Even the dragon sleeps now. You can hear her breath, steady and low, rising from her chest like a tide pulled by dreams. She curls tighter with each exhale, tail wrapped near her muzzle, wings folded in like a great velvet cloak. I often wonder what dragons dream of. Perhaps vast skies and warm thermals, or moonlight gleaming on the surface of lakes far older than any map. Or maybe, tonight she dreams of this, a ruin softened by time, a fire slowly sinking into slumber, and two old souls resting near her side. I've said a great deal this evening, haven't I? And yet, I feel there is little more to say now. My thoughts drift like ash on a breeze, not scattered, just light, unburdened. Sometimes it's best to let them go where they will. Let them float into the dark and know they'll find their way without needing to be steered. There is no lesson tonight, no final thought I feel pressed to share. Only this: peace is not something we earn through hardship or struggle, or proving ourselves again and again. No, peace is something we return to, something we already carry, quietly within us. Like an ember beneath ash, waiting only for stillness to breathe again. When I was younger, I used to believe I had to deserve rest, that only after labor or sacrifice could I lay down my sword. But I see now, the need for rest does not wait until we are empty. It waits until we are willing to loosen our grip, willing to let go, willing to say this moment is enough. And this moment here, with you, it truly is. Sometimes when I close my eyes like I will soon, I don't fall into dreams, I fall into memory, not the kind that pulls you back into sorrow or longing. No, these are softer than that. Like leaves floating on water, they come and go unbothered by time. I remember the feel of early snow on a wool cloak. I remember a warm hand clasping mine at a fire far older than this one. I remember the hush of candlelight in a silent hall. And tonight when sleep finds me, I hope I'll remember this too, this quiet ruin, this gentle rain, your presence beside mine. I think the world remembers such things as well. Not the clangor, not the ceremony, but the stillness, the shared breath, the silent sitting, the trust between friends who ask nothing of each other but company. You've given me that tonight, just by being here, and I hope I've returned the gift in kind. So now, let it all go, my friend. The thoughts, the questions, the weight of needing to do or say or fix. Let your body sink into the moss beneath you. Let the slow warmth of the coals draw out whatever tension remains. Let your eyes close if they wish. Let the sounds blur. You spare safe here, safe to rest. If your mind wanders, let it walk soft paths through woods that only exist in dreams. Let it follow the sound of distant bells, the scent of old parchment, the feeling of warm bread in your hands. Let it wander until it no longer needs to know where it is. I'll stay here a little while longer, just to watch the last flickers of the fire, just to feel the world exhale once more. And when sleep does come for me, I will not resist. I'll fold into it gently, like a cloak drawn over tired shoulders. No resistance, no regret, just stillness, just warmth, just this. You and I, curled beneath the hush of stars, not as warriors, not as wayfarers, but simply as souls who have learned, finally, how to rest. Peace isn't state out there, my friend. It's state's already here. It always was. There you are, still with me, but perhaps only half so. Eyes heavy, thoughts quieter now, as if each breath carries them farther away. That's all right. That's how it should be. This is the part of the night where words don't need to travel far, just soft enough to meet your ears and no farther than that. The hair wanted to thank you for being here, for sitting with me, beside the fire beneath this quiet roof of stars and stone. You didn't need to bring anything. You didn't need to prove anything. Your presence, your simple, steady being was enough. Truly. It's easy to forget how rare that is in this world, just to be with someone without trying to shape the moment, without needing to explain or fix or rush. You've done what few dare to do. You've stayed, you've rested, and I'm so very grateful. The fire is nearly coals now, just soft pulses of orange, like slow breathing in the dark. The rain, too, has quieted down. It no longer taps so much as murmurs along the edge of the ruined arches, along the dragon's back, along the mossy stone at your side. It sounds like it's humming to itself, or maybe humming to you. The night holds us gently, straight you think, and it will go on holding us even as we let go. So much of what I've spoken tonight, I offer not as answers, but as comfort, as something to keep close as sleep begins to bloom behind your eyes. Let the words fade if they need to. Let them melt into the hush. Let them become nothing more than a feeling, like warm wool, or a distant song, or the scent of lavender in the folds of a forgotten cloak. You don't need to carry anything else into your dreaming. Not thoughts, not weight, not wondering. Sleep is not a task. It's not something to earn. It is a returning, a gentle drift, a homecoming. And you, my friend, you are already home, so rest now. Let your limbs loosen. Let your breath fall slow. Let the hush between us grow wider like a field of still water, calm and endless beneath the moon. Tomorrow will wait. The world will wait. But this night, it belongs to you, fully, sweetly, softly, yours to fall into. And should you wake before I do, don't worry. I'll still be here, right here, in this same quiet, with the same warm hush in my voice, with the same fire in my heart. Sleep now, dear soul. The rain will keep watch. Good night.